Hangover Tuesday, y'all. Let's get it. Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building, man. You guys know what time it is. Welcome to the latest installment of Coffee and Convo. I am your host, Graphk Raiders. Salute to the greatest chat in YouTube history. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys. I see Green Dot Gang is already heavy in the building. Salute to you guys. If you guys want to become Green Dot, hit the link. It's pinned up top. It definitely helps us keep the lights on over here. Had to do this show early, you guys. A few things going on personally. My son has some issues at school today. I'm going to have to go get him here in a minute. And then I just found out that my auntie Marguerite passed away this morning. So I'm doing this show real early. Get it out the way. It's going to be a short, maybe 45-minute show. And I got to get out of here. But thank you guys so much for pulling up. We're going to talk about this L that we caught last night at Allegiant Stadium. Nasty work. 20-9. Chargers get us out the way at Allegiant Stadium week 2 as we prepare for this Sunday to go face the Commanders on the road, where it doesn't get any easier. And, you know, who's to say Jaden Daniels? I know they're saying that he's day-to-day out there right now with the knee injury. But, yeah, man, we don't know if he's going to be available come Sunday. So something to monitor moving forward, man. Salute to my guy, Loso, man. Appreciate you, brother, on becoming a member also. Appreciate you. If you guys want to become a member like my guy Loso, hit the link. It's pinned up top. Salute to my guy Coach. Need a better quarterback and O-line next draft. Dylan Parham is so trash. He's beyond trash. Meredith snapped that ball like he had no damn clue. Yeah, we're going to talk about it here in a second, you guys. The O-line definitely struggled. Parham, I mean, he looked really bad out there yesterday. We can go over a few numbers. Salute to my guy Scout, man, always putting up some great information on Twitter. I'll go over some PFF numbers and some other things as well, pass blocking, all that good stuff. Colton Miller looked really good at left tackle last night in the passing game. 0 pressures allowed by Colton Miller. Dylan Parham allowed a sack, a hit, 6 pressures, and also 2 penalties, which is nasty work. I don't know how Jordan Meredith didn't allow a pressure. We'll get more into the Jordan Meredith situation here shortly. Alice Kappa, rough day at the office as well. Gave up a sack, 4 pressures. DJ Glaze gave up 2 pressures. Dylan Lowby gave up 1 pressure. Genty gave up a sack and a pressure. Geno Smith, 2 pressures also. But Dylan Parham has had a miserable first 2 weeks. Among guards with a minimum of 80 snaps. This is according to my boy Scout over here on Twitter, Tristan Kuhn. Dylan Parham ranks 55th in PFF in terms of a minimum, but wait, 55th in PFF grade, 48%. 33rd in run blocking, 55.5. 58th in pass blocking, 42.5. Last in pressures allowed. He's given up 9 pressures so far, leading the league. And last in penalties also with 3. So a rough day at the office for Dylan Parham. But there is a bright spot there in that O-line. Once again, Colton Miller ranks among all tackles, guards, and centers in the league. 133 snaps throughout 2 games. 3rd PFF grade, 81.9, which is great. You know, he's doing really good, specifically pass blocking. 66.5 run block grade. He's tied for 29th. Has to get better in the ground game. That's where we're struggling mightily right now. 90.2 pass blocking grade. He's 1st in the NFL right now, which is great. 0 sacks allowed on that left side by Colton Miller, tied for 1st, and only 1 pressure allowed in the first 2 weeks. He's tied for 2nd first among all tackles. And then you look at Jordan Meredith, checks in at 77th overall and 17th at center, which is not good. 61.0, 16th in run blocking, middle of the pack there, 25th in pass blocking. Got to get it together there. Should be moved back to guard immediately. This is what Tristan Kuntz said, my boy Scout, and I agree. At this point, you're probably going to have to look at if JPJ is, gets back from that concussion, you may have to flirt with the idea of putting him back at center. If not, you may have to look at Will Putnam, the UDFA out of Clemson. He has a nasty streak to him. Maybe we can improve there at the center position with Will Putnam there. But in all honesty, if you're not going to put JPJ at the center position, I'm okay with moving him back to left guard. Get him away from that right side. Maybe you move Meredith to the right side, or, you flirt with the idea of giving Caleb Rogers his first action, our young rook out of Texas Tech. Parham has struggled. Honestly, I don't see this offensive line getting better with him in the mix. Bad. Glaze has been good. Kappa looked bad. Parham looked bad. Meredith had an game yesterday. We got to get better on this O-line, or we're going to be in for a long season, you guys. Honestly, we cannot run the football. But the thing is this is the thing that gets me pissed off is Genty only has 11 carries. He has 43 yards. He averaged 3.9 a clip yesterday. At one point, you take him out after he has a great run. You give Zeus the entire drive. At one point, you take Zeus out. You put Dylan Laube out there, which he had a great drive also. I know he had a nice little run, a nice reception as well. Also, you know what? He had 2 catches out there at the running back position for 17 yards, averaged 8.5 a clip. He was targeted twice, a long of 13. So, but you have to get Genty more involved. I understand that the O-line is struggling to run block, but you just took this guy at 6, man. You have to feed him. You have to feed him the rock. He is one of those guys. He's a Derrick Henry. You got to give him the ball 20 times a game for him to be effective. You can't expect Ashton Genty to go out there and get 11 carries and just put it all together. And I know that Pete said something along the lines of, they're trying to be patient with him. I know that Genty even said that he's been kind of, struggling with adjusting to the speed of the game, right? The NFL level is totally different, but you have to get him more involved. I also understand that he struggled in, pass blocking yesterday mightily. So maybe that's why they took him off the field. Maybe they didn't want him to, get inside his own head, so to speak. There was a few plays there where Genty blew his assignment and Geno was blown up. So maybe that was what Pete didn't want to say. Maybe he was just trying to be a little, a little more political in terms of just saying, hey, we're just trying to be patient with Genty. But he definitely struggled yesterday blocking. So he definitely gave up a few assignments yesterday, and it did not help Geno and company. Offensively, we struggled. It was just nasty. Salute to coach, man. Appreciate you. Let me catch up on these supers real quick, you guys. Appreciate you guys, as always, for rocking. Salute to you guys also for the kind words. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Let me see. Fitz says Caleb Rogers time. Okay. Look, man, I'm ready to activate him and see what he can do. Honestly, DJ Glaze was good. I believe he gave up 2 pressures. But he didn't have a bad game by any means. I'm looking at some of these stats. Let me see. Once again, 2 pressures yesterday gave up by DJ Glaze. So, and we'll go over the defensive line here in a second. Once again, salute to my brother, Raiders.Scout, over there putting up some fire information over on the X app. Let me see. Yeah, Palomau, once again, struggled in coverage. Is that what you're saying, my father? Sanjit put it out there. Raiders play calling numbers. Geno had close to 50 dropbacks and 14 carries for the running back room. Felt like running the ball wasn't part of the game plan. Well, Primos, this is the thing, right? If that's true, then what are we doing? Why do you take a running back at 6 if you're not going to run the football a ton? I'm tired of looking at these numbers back-to-back weeks and seeing that we can't even get 70 yards on the ground. I'm still waiting to see one of these guys go out there and get 100 yards. We ran the football 19 times yesterday, Primos. So, and I think that they got away from the ground game early when they were struggling, seeing how the O-line was holding up, and they just got away from it. I don't know if the game plan wasn't to run the football. I think that you want to run the football against a team like the Chargers. And that's a sneaky defense, man. Salute to Jesse Minter. He is doing a phenomenal job out there as a defensive coordinator for Jim Harbaugh and company. But look, you can't expect to run the football effectively if you do not allow your running back to build some momentum. Genty only had 11 carries. Geno had 5 for 20, averaged 4 a clip, right? Trey Tucker had 1 for 7. Zamir White had 2 carries for -2 yards. When the hell, Primos, are we going to get Raheem Mostert back up and ready to roll? He's been inactive the last 2 weeks. I don't know if it's a personal thing. Until we get any kind of information, I'm just assuming that he's just inactive. He's a healthy scratch. We have not heard anything outside of during training camp, him missing some time because his wife being pregnant and them having a child. So until then, I'm assuming he's just a healthy scratch. Zeus is not getting it done at the running back position. I just don't see what they see in him. I know Pete likes him. I know Chip Kelly likes him. He has struggled these first 2 weeks. But once again, you're taking Genty off the football field and you're inserting Zeus into the game. What are you doing to your young kid psyche in Ashton Genty? You need to feed him repetition. It means everything at the running back position. You need to feed two. You need to feed Deuce for him to be effective. And once again, if we cannot get the ground game going, you guys, we are in for a long season, man. Salute to my guy, all aboard. They took him out because he didn't know that one play. Love the dunk and dunk drive in the second half, but they needed to run the ball once we got to the red zone. Yeah, I don't think we ran the football once in the red zone. Did we, all aboard? I could be wrong. I swear, I don't think we ran the football one time in the red zone. We were just throwing the football all over the place. Salute to Verum. I think the reason they took Genty out and did not prioritize him was because of that blown up play where he didn't know where he was. Okay. But once again, baptism by fire. You took him at 6. Let him learn from his mistakes. You don't take him out because of one mistake. If this is a 6th round running back, a 5th round running back, a 4th round running back, I understand the philosophy behind that. This guy is potentially a generational running back. If you can't get him going in the ground game, Verum, and get him open in space, find him in the flats. I know they tried a few times, but find a way to get Genty open in space. That is where he is most effective. This is where he runs through defenders. This is where that balance and after the contact, this is where that comes into play. You have to find a way to get one of your best players on the offensive side of the ball involved in space. That's where he is a massive piece to this offense. If you can't get him going in the run game, he can't run the football. Get him open in the passing game. Get him in space. Find ways to get one of your best players involved in the offense. But once again, if it was because of that, that's shameful to me. You have to allow this kid to learn. He was literally picked at number 6. You used you invested a major draft pick there in Ashton Genty. Let him learn, from his mistakes. But once again, I don't know if that's true or not, but hey, that would be nasty if they did that. Salute to my guy, Snake Fist. Emoji opening drive pick was an all-pro play. The throw was accurate. Geno came on field at one point looking at ground. He choked after that pick, throwing into double coverage a lot. Our O-line and Bolts D shook him up. Yeah. I mean, look, man, Geno struggled, you guys. I mean, 3 picks. Once again, just like my bro said, throwing him into double coverage, triple coverage. Geno was definitely shell-shocked yesterday. And it was kind of a sign of things to come, right? Throwing a pick the first play from scrimmage. I mean, he had to throw the football 43 times, 24 completions, 80 yards in the air. He only averaged 4.2 a clip. He was 0 for 10 on plays over 10 yards. That's a far cry from last week when he had like 9 plays over 20 yards or something like that, which was insane. 0 touchdowns, 3 picks, sacked 3 times, a QBR of 19.0. You're not going to win ball games like that. And Geno, man, I'm starting to see what those 12 fans are talking about. I've watched a ton of Geno, but I'm not going to act as though I watch Geno every single weekend when he played with Seattle. He gets in his way. He gets in his own way a lot. Like, fans were commenting in the comment section last night saying this is the Geno that we know. Once he throws a pick, throws another one. And yeah, nasty work, man. 3 picks. He is well on his way to throwing like 30 this year if he keeps this up. This is 4 on the season so far for Geno Smith. 3 in week 2, 1 last week, a nasty one that he tried to throw to Brock Bowers in double coverage as well. Salute to Snake Fist, my guy, man. Appreciate you, brother. Alex, I'm waiting. I'm just waiting to see what the hell is going on with Raheem Mostert. There's nothing out there in terms of why he's inactive. We brought him in on a cheap, inexpensive veteran deal. He dealt with some injuries last year in Miami. In 2023, he had over 1,000 yards rushing, like 22 touchdowns. I think he led the league in touchdowns. But there's just no word on why the veteran is out right now. I have no clue. Nothing. I made calls. I'm trying to get anything out of anyone in terms of Raheem Mostert, and there's nothing. There's nothing out there. Jason says, man, that game was just awful. Coaches, players, and all. Let me say this, Jay. I have to say that defense kept us in the game. I got to give the defense their flowers, man. I definitely do. They look really good out there. At times, yeah, Stokes gave up some plays. I think Caillou gave up a touchdown. Palomar, once again, is still a little in coverage. But I think the defense showed some signs of life yesterday. We had several opportunities to win that ball game, you guys. Honestly, man, when Max got that turnover, when Butler fell on that fumble, we got the ball back. We still had an opportunity to win that game. Like, honestly, in the second half, it felt like we were down 17-6 at the half, I believe, something like that. Was it 17-6 or was it 17-6, right? I believe at the half. The defense woke up. Only allowed 3 points there in the second half. But once again, the offense has to show up. You can't expect to go out there and kick a couple field goals. And what are we doing? The offense completely shit the bed there, not only in the first half, but in the second half as well. Yeah, missed a drop pick 6. Jermaine Pratt would have took that to the crib. You have to catch that. I think that was on a 3rd and 1. Herbert threw a nasty, nasty pass that went right through Jermaine Pratt's hands. That could have gave us a decent shot at coming back. That could have been the shot in the arm for this Raider team that would have got us going. You know what I mean? But, it is what it is. Alex is not being negative like Honcho. Look, man, I love Honcho. That's my bro, man. That's my guy in real life. You know what I mean? And, Honch has a way of going about things with the way he goes with his content, right? I choose to lead with optimism. You know what I'm saying? We're 1-1. It's only week 2, you guys. We were in that game the entire game, regardless of how bad we played, especially on the offensive side of the football. We were still in that game. There were so many self-inflicted wounds yesterday that just we didn't want that game. We just sadly gave it to the Chargers. By any means, I mean, outside of that Chargers defense looked phenomenal. I have to give them their credit. I mean, 3 picks, you guys. They were all over the place. Derwin James had a great game. Henley has to be the MVP. He went into that game with the flu. They had him on IVs. He was questionable going into that game because of the flu. He goes out there, flu game, MJ, 10 total tackles, 7 solo. He has a sack, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 passes defensed, a QB hit. I mean, just nasty. A pick. That was disgusting. Henley went out there, 0 had himself a game. Then you look at, Tarheeb Steele also had a big game for him. 9 total tackles. He also had a tackle for a loss, 2 passes defensed. Once again, Derwin James was all over the place. We only held them, I think, they had 3 sacks on the game. I believe Khalil Mack had one early before he went out with that injury. Caldwell, the youngster, had one as well. And then I think, Henley also had one. So they had 3 sacks. But you have to give credit to that defense. They were all over the place, man. Our offense had no answers for that defense. It was nasty. So it is what it is. But once again, you guys, let's not jump the gun here, okay? We're 1-1. After this Commanders game, we are going on the road. This is going to be a tough assignment. I still trust in Pete Carroll. I trust Chip Kelly. Hopefully they can turn this thing around and we can find a way to rattle off some wins here. But once again, after this Commanders game, there's a ton of winnable games here. And even the Commanders game, we don't know if we're facing Mariota or Jaden Daniels. Who's to say? And if we're facing the same team that lost against Green Bay last week, we may find a way to go out there and escape with a dub. Who's to say? But there's some very winnable games. Chicago 0-2, Titans 0-2. Indy is 2-0, but once again, they look really good too, but they're beatable. They squeaked off a win against the Denver Broncos, last second field goal, but there are some winnable games there. Jacksonville 1-1. They just lost to Browning, in Cincinnati there late in the game on the road. So I'm not here to say that this season is over by any means, but we have to clean up some things. I'm not here to panic. Like I said, I'm not panicking. I'm not. But if Geno looks the way he looked yesterday, again, if he can't be consistently good, this may be a tough year. It really may be a tough year. Geno, once again, just depending on throwing the deep ball over and over and over, just kept giving the Chargers offense more opportunities to put up points. I don't get it. And I love what Pete said. It's like, why do we take more of the underneath looks? I was saying that the entire show yesterday, you guys. I'm like, beat up the middle of the football field. Get Jacoby there. Find Brock in the middle of the football field. Get Mayer more involved. Get your running backs. Get Dillon. He was a spark plug there on that one drive. Get him more involved, but eat up the middle of the football field. You're struggling to throw the deep ball. Your accuracy was not on par at all yesterday, and you're throwing in the double and triple coverage. It's clear that the defense was in Geno's brain. At that point, you have to find ways to get it done in the short and intermediate passing game. Keep Justin Herbert off the football field. I don't really – it was just a bad game as a whole yesterday, man. And I think that Geno will bounce back from this. The Commanders have an interesting defense. They have some veterans out there, Marshawn Lattimore and Wagner, Pete Carroll's guy. We'll see what that defense looks like this upcoming Sunday. But Geno has to eliminate the turnovers. You're not going to win games like this throwing 3 picks in one game when you had an opportunity to still win that game late. Like it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. House Jackie says Chips always is so predictable. I don't think it is. I just think that they're not capitalizing on the opportunities that they have. Pressure on right now, you guys. Let me see. Real quick, let me see. Salute to everybody here in the building, as always. Wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. We got Carroll here. All right. As the shield turns, I'll do that. Boom. Let me share this screen real quick, you guys. Salute to everybody here in the building. Thank you guys for your patience. We're going to hear from our head coach here in a second. Let me share this screen. Boom, boom, boom. All right, there we go. As the shield turns. Let me see. Yeah, and Reese, this is the thing, right? You also have Jack Besh. Get him more involved. Get him more involved. He had one catch, week 1 for like 23 yards? Find a way to get him more involved. He loves to catch the football in the middle of the football field. He embraces contact, sure-handed. Find him in the middle of the football field. You don't always have to go out there and look for those deep opportunities. Pause if necessary. It's just nasty work. Geno right now, early on, has 1 touchdown and 4 picks. He leads the league in interceptions right now. You're not going to win football games like that. And once again, this was not only a terrible game by Geno by any means. This was the O-line. It was just a group effort. But I have to say the defense did perform pretty well for us, though. They kept the Chargers at 20 points. That second half held them to 3. I love, what they did out there in the second half. Max, there was a ton of pressure, you guys. They just could not bring Herbert down. They just could not bring Herbert down. They just kept allowing him to beat us with his legs. It was that's a tough way to go out. Tough way to go out. Salute to my guy, Dion Brown. Appreciate you, brother. And while we wait also, I want to talk about this defensive line, you guys. Salute to, once again, my brother Scout. Pass rush versus the Chargers. Jonah Lalu, 6 pressures, 2 sacks, 3 hits, 9.4% win rate. Thomas Booker, 3 pressures, 15% win rate. Malcolm Kuntz got absolutely dominated by Joe Alt. 2 pressures, 11.1 win rate. Darnay Holmes, a pressure. Lecky Fotu, a pressure, 16.7 win rate. Max had a pressure, 11% win rate. Landon Roberts had a pressure as well. And also Booker had, a really good game for us. Once again, the 3 pressures, but he did look really good out there. Got to give him a ton of credit. 8 pressures. This is, once again, according to Scout, through 2 games, ranks among some of the top interior defensive line in football with over 60 snaps. 8 pressures, tied for 4th. 14% win rate, 12th in the league. 38% RSTP win rate, 17th, middle of the pack there. And 2 created sacks, tied for 1st. So Booker has been a pleasant surprise for this defense and this defensive line as a whole. So we'll also go over these DBs before Pete gets here. Coverage / tackling. Last night, Isaiah Palamau, 4 for 5, 52 yards, gave up a touchdown, 149.6 QBR. Jermaine Pratt, 3 for 5, 26 yards, 2 pass breakups, 73.8 QBR. Caillou Blue Kelly, 2 for 4, 64 yards, giving up a pass breakup, also gave up a touchdown, 135.4 QBR. Jeremy Chin, 3 for 4, 26 yards, giving up in coverage, pass breakup, 91.7 QBR. Eric Stokes was 1 for 2, 25 yards, giving up, according to Scout. See more than that. Pass breakup, a 95.8 QBR. And then Devin White, 2 for 2, 14 yards, 95.8 QBR. Chris Smith, 1 for 1, 10 yards, 108.3 QBR. I don't know why they keep dropping Max Crosby in the coverage. I want to talk about that again, you guys. I don't understand the philosophy behind this. I truly don't. It's like you take away your best pass rusher in those critical moments. You're dropping him back in coverage to guard Amarion Hampton. He's not a cover dude, Daryl. You're right. Like, this is not Max's game. That's not what he does. He is one of the best pass rushers in football. You need to make sure that you get him after the quarterback and get him after the quarterback a lot. He generates a ton of pressures. He gets to the quarterback a ton. You need to keep Max. I don't get it. I need to hear some type of explanation behind this. I don't get it. Ace says, seeing Malcolm Kuntz and Max in coverage. And you know what's so funny? I thought this was only a Madden thing. Salute to Dion. Appreciate you and becoming a member, brother. I thought it was only a Madden thing, you guys. Like, I've been playing Madden a ton. I'm like on week 8, week 9 of my franchise. And they kept dropping Max and Kuntz back in coverage. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, let me continue to be Max myself so they don't keep dropping him back in coverage. And I thought it was just a Madden thing. I'm like, okay, this has to just be a Madden situation. No, they're actually doing this shit in real life. Like, they got Max dropping back in coverage. It's one of the top edge rushers in football. I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. Yeah. Max in coverage on 3rd down is wild. It's wild. Especially when you take away your best pass rusher that could have potentially gotten to Herbert. It makes no sense at all. I honestly don't get it. Rich not having an elite DT hurts. Definitely. I think this defensive line would look totally different if Christian Wilkins, wasn't hurt and the whole situation, the whole debacle with him, right? But no, definitely. Here we go, man. Pete Carroll, you got it.
Go ahead, Ryan. Yes, sir. Hey, Pete, do you have an update in regards to Jackson Powers Johnson? Do you anticipate him practicing this week since after missing the game?
I don't know that. I haven't been given the word yet, but he's had plenty of time now, so he should be able to be all right.
Okay.
As for Brock Bowers, do you expect him to ramp up a little bit more this week in terms of practice?
Like he only practiced on Friday and Friday practice, and that's. I think you could see we were just trying to get him out there and get him playing, and he looked okay, and so we got to him in the second half more. But we really need him. We need him being active throughout the game.
You mentioned the decision making, but by Geno on some of the interceptions. When you went back on and looked at the tape, did that sort of affirm what you thought might have been?
Shots. Yeah, he took shots, put the ball up, and try to give the guy a chance. Make the play. Dante and Jacoby and they defended him well. They were back there. In retrospect, it looked like it was really difficult to be hopeful, and he was trying to make something happen.
Pete, when you have a quarterback that's as talented as Geno, who has some gunslinger in him, how do you balance taking risks but also being cautious, because it's almost a duplicitous role?
Yeah. Well, that's experience with the guy and trust. I know what he was thinking, and I know the shot they took, and he threw a ball that was catchable, possibly, but it was a challenge. And so a couple of them came up, and they made their plays, and they did a nice job with it. So I'm not going to slow him down. Taking the shots
appreciate you
there for him. But we will evaluate, and if there's a better option, let's not give them their op to get the football from us.
There goes the audio.
The challenge of a short week going across the country.
Yeah, it's happening really fast. So as soon as I'm out of here, I'm on the run, and we all are. Tomorrow in the meetings, we'll do a Monday and a Tuesday, Monday and a Wednesday meeting schedule, so we'll get through Tell the Truth meeting. We'll talk about the game, then we'll flip it around and away we go on the Commanders. We won't just drop this game. There's too much to learn. We're such a new team that there's so many things to learn. I mean, we played a championship game against these guys last night, and they're worthy of that, and we're worthy of that. And in that game, a couple holding penalties, a couple throws here, a couple, missing the deep ball, the 60-yarder, those are enough to lose a football game in the championship matchup. And that's what happened, I thought, and so a lot of respect to the Chargers. They got a good club, and they're going to win a lot of games. We had our ops, and that's what's frustrating about it. We needed to not fumble a snap in the red zone. We need not to get 2 holding penalties in the red zone, and we have a lot of confidence in our team, but it's when you make it that hard, you're likely going to be behind it. And so that's kind of what happened.
Pete, were you aware before the game that Tom Brady was going to be in the booth?
Oh my God.
In the coach's booth.
Why are we talking
last
about
night,
this
or
shit
was that
again?
something that just happened?
Yeah, I think he was there in the other game too. Was there a game preseason or something like that?
Who cares, man?
Yeah, 49ers.
Along those lines, it's kind of caused a little bit of a firestorm out there, and there are people.
Who cares? Talk about the game.
Is it fair that Tom Brady, in his role as an owner and somebody that maybe has some input in the game planning, is also a commentator and goes and talks to other teams? Do you understand where people are coming from there? And
yeah, I think Tom's really tried to honor that really strictly, and with all respect, to the situation of concerns like you're talking about, and I think he's been really good. He has not planning
Not
games.
for Sean, you guys. He's no longer with the Raiders.
Anything other than our
He is with the
conversations that we
Commanders
have
now.
that are really they're random. I mean, they're not set up. They're not structured in any way. And when he knows, he's very respectful of what he does otherwise, and he's of the opinion that he doesn't want to be that kind of a factor, and so he's not.
There seem to be some issues.
I think that's Ryan
last
McFadden.
night, consistent issues. Did you notice that? Do you think that impacted Geno at all?
Well, the one that came off of that hit the ground, that was really just Jordan trying to get out of his stance really quick, and the ball hit his butt on the way out, and so it was a missnap. We could be more accurate. Geno's reaching for the ball some, that we'd like to settle those down. He's pretty good at doing it, so it's not an issue. But that one bad snap was a real mistake. And he got a little over anxious and tried to get out of his stance a little quick, and it didn't work out.
Reads this week compared to week 1?
He ran the ball well. I thought he hit stuff well. And, he went the wrong way on a play and so that was unfortunate, and it mixes up the whole play. Geno goes this way, he goes that way. He's still getting it. We got ways to go here, and I have no problem telling you that he's going to get better and get more comfortable. He felt more comfortable in this game. He looked good running the football, and we need to just get to him more. Just like to get another 8 or 9 snaps to him and get around 20, and that'd be really nice.
You mentioned already you've got to improve, but would you talk about your offensive line, what you're seeing from it after 2 games, please?
Yeah, well, we're giving us a chance. We're giving us a chance to make our plays. It all works together. You know, the ball has to come out when the rush is hard and quick. And sometimes we did that, and other times we didn't. The reason Geno had a chance to throw some late balls down the field is because the protection was so good. So, but we're it's a work in progress, and with a cap coming in, in this week, late in the week, that was a little bit of an adjustment for us, and we just have to try to manage that more quickly, and as when you've been together longer, those transitions get smoothed over. So were they a factor? Very subtle, but we definitely can be better, and we definitely will, we know we will in time.
From your perspective, is that one of the areas that just takes time on task to
It always has.
sort through? Yeah.
Yeah, it always has. Yeah, there's so many intricacies about what goes on up front, and it's identification, then the proper communication, and then the execution of it. All of those go hand in hand, and they kind of go in sequence. So for we're IDing well, and we make the correct calls, then we have to work together, and then we have to execute the physical part of it. So that's different than running a route. That's different than other positions.
One Nation.
So it always takes time.
That Thornton non-PI call.
And toughness right now with the offensive line. Is it where it needs to be? Is it still working, like you said, work in progress?
We're trying. Yeah, we're trying to. We were trying to be more so, without question. So, like you can see us on defense, you can see how physical we are and how we're playing aggressive and all of that. That's a really good sign for us early on. That means the guys are feeling comfortable with what we're calling, and Patrick's putting them in good spots, and the guys are getting after it. And sometimes when we're not quite right, which there were some times there too, the physicality part takes over, and the guy makes a play otherwise, and because he's so aggressive, and that we've seen an aggressive nature in our group come through for us. And so, to play two halves here back to back and give up 6 points, that's tremendous play. And we were getting better as the game went on again. And so I'm really excited about that. We got to play off of that and make sure we count on that to continue. I know the guys
We got the right player,
this is
man.
an experienced group of guys.
You got to unlock
they're
them.
sharing the mentality, and that's a good sign for us at this point. So we expect to continue to let that be a real positive part of the team.
Mambo is a jet, man.
You were limited for Dylan Lowry, but when you got him, he did something with them.
He did well again. Yeah.
Dylan.
Kind of opened you guys' eyes a little bit.
That's why he's on the roster every week. He's playing, and he's exceptional in special teams. And when he gets his chances, he's maximizing them. So he's doing a good job. Yes, the answer is yes to that.
Defensive line, they're kind of all kind of in a lot of different positions with Lucky coming in and Adam Butler coming in out of position, Max even dropping out of coverage, a lot of rotation. Is that kind of like are you still trying to figure out what you want that defensive line to look, or are you just doing anything to combat?
We're still evaluating, the strengths and making sure that we're zeroed in on that. But we're going to continue to move our guys. We like the uniqueness that the guys bring, and so we're trying to put them in those positions as much as possible and try to make it hard on your opponent, so they're not certain what we're doing. I think Max played a terrific game again. I think you're going to see he got a sack in that game. We turned in on a scramble. I don't know if did you guys notice that? That's a sack that Max made, but he also was a factor on the.
They didn't give it to him. They gave it to Lalu.
Coming from different spots. I really like using Max in multiple ways because he's such a sudden football player that put him on different guys and they have to see that for the first time, and he can make some things happen that other guys don't. And so
it should have went to Max.
The fumble play.
Max was the first person to touch Herbert, but they gave it to Lalu.
Get credit for. It's a phenomenal football play under the circumstances of the game as well, and phenomenal anyway. But I think if we can continue to move him, it really plays to our strengths. So we'll try to keep doing that.
For Tyree Wilson, was that just kind of the nature of the game, how the game played out, or
the game? Remember the game of the big drives? We had an 11-minute drive in the game, and then they come back with 7 or something. They go 7, we go 11. There's not many series, in the game, so it kind of squelches the rotations a bit. But T will play more. We love what he's doing. He's really grown.
Yeah, OG
becoming part of it and all.
Herbert slid like a yard or two
him to
behind
get
the
more
line
than
of
14.
scrimmage.
Yeah.
You talk about balancing, developing young players who are going to make young player mistakes. That's natural, and still keeping expectation.
Yeah, well, the expectation is that over the long haul, this is going to really serve us well, and it always has. And so you do have to struggle through some of the roughness, but in knocking those plays out now, hopefully eliminates them down the stretch, and really from the middle of the season on, we should be cleaner and better, and then we'll have more depth and more guys available to us that can play, and that should help us.
Good.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Salute to our head coach, Pete Carroll. X says this team could do so much better. Save for the O-line. I hope the team learned from yesterday because yesterday they were playing as if to lose. I agree with you, X. And, this team will get better, you guys. Once again, week 2. So it's a lot of new moving parts to this unit. Nose ring, no booger, y'all. Nose ring, no booger. But we'll be fine. I understand you guys. We do this every year, right? We buy into what we're doing. I remember last year we lost week 1. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, the world is ending," and then we beat Baltimore week 2, and everybody's right back right back into it, and then boom, we lose, and we go on this nasty run, and we're right back to being just negative as shit. I understand it, right? We're all going to overreact. We're fans before anything. I'm a podcaster. I cover the Raiders for a living, but also I'm a fan first. So sometimes I may overreact a little bit as well. But once again, we're 1-1. We're one game out of first place in the AFC West. Chargers 2-0. We're 1-1. Broncos 1-1. Chiefs 0-2. There's still plenty of time left in this season. There's 15 more weeks, you guys. 15 more weeks. So I think we'll be okay. We got a game that's going to be a tough one to win on the road in DC on Sunday. But then once again, we come back home and we got a nice stretch of football there where we can win, potentially go on a nice little run and win a few games there. But I'm not here to act as though I'm giving up on this football team. It takes time. New head coach, new OC, new O-line coach and Brendan Carroll, a new center in Jordan Meredith, new running back with Genty. Things take time. So I'm not jumping out the window like most of you guys. I'm just not doing it. I'm not. It is what it is. Docs, do you trust these guys to get us a franchise quarterback? Because we need one. I mean, Jim, at some point we will. We'll find one. We definitely don't have him on the roster right now. Aiden's not the guy. Cam Miller's not the guy. Kenny Pickett's definitely not the guy. So, hopefully. But right now we have a 34-year-old Geno Smith, 2-time Pro Bowler that Pete Carroll really trusts and really believes in, that traded the 3rd-round pick and brought him in and extended him. So we're running with Geno here. It is what it is. Terrible game from him. You live and you learn, you move on. The thing about the NFL, you guys, and I think as Raider fans, we have to understand too, right? Just you have to have a short memory in this shit. On a Sunday, the Commanders, tough opponent. They just lost Austin Eckler for the season. Jaden Daniels had an MRI on his knee. He's day-to-day out there. Something to monitor with him. Let's just move on. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. This giveaway, I don't really have any game balls, honestly. I wanted to give 1 or 2 away. Take a look at my notes here. We'll first and foremost, let's give some not so much game balls, okay? You have to make sure that Geno is in this category here. Rough Monday night for our QB1. 24 for 43, 180 in the air, no touchdowns, 3 picks. He was running for his life. At one point, he threw a ball out of bounds on 4th down. You cannot do that with the game on the line. Once again, I know some people may think that the game was over at that point, but you still had an opportunity to go down there. You have to at least throw the football inbounds to give your receivers an opportunity. I could have lived with the 4th pick there. I don't care. As long as you throw the football inbounds and give you guys a shot to go get that ball. Pretty much we're trying to come back anyways. You cannot throw the football out of bounds on 4th down regardless of what kind of pressure you're under. I would have just threw that shit up and hoped for a miracle. You cannot throw the football away on 4th down. It is nasty, nasty, nasty. LV, I love that. Give Dylan a game ball. Definitely took advantage of his opportunities on special teams and out there at the running back position because, once again, Zeus couldn't get it done. You put Dylan in there, gets 2 catches, when he gets to rolling and moving and shaking a little bit. You love to see it. Maybe Jonah Lalu as well. He had 2 sacks. Give Jonah Lalu one. I'll definitely give him one. But Geno definitely gets a what the fuck, okay? The O-line in general gets a what the fuck. But more importantly, I'm going to give Dylan Parham a what the fuck. Terrible, terrible game from him at the left guard spot. Kappa did not play good yesterday in his first action with the silver and black. But also, I mean, Jordan Meredith fumbled. He didn't look good out there as well. I don't want to beat him up too much because Parham definitely took the cake in terms of being the worst offensive lineman that we had out there. Colton Miller looked good in pass pro. Definitely want to give him his flowers. But, I mean, Devin White, maybe you can give him a game ball. Once again, he had 8 total tackles, led us some tackles again, had a tackle for a loss. He was all over the place. Jermaine Pratt was all over the place. But if anything, I'll give Jonah Lalu one. He had 4 tackles. He had 2 sacks. He had 3 tackles for a loss. But the O-line, what the fuck? They got to get a what the fuck, and Geno has to get a what the fuck. Other than that, the play calling, right? I mean, they ran the football 19 times. 5 carries from that were Geno Smith. So we ran the football 14 times with Ashton Jeanty, Trey Tucker, and Zamir White. You have to run the football more effectively, man. You have to give Jeanty more opportunities to go out there and get the job done. I don't understand running your first round draft pick 11 times for 40 plus yards. You have to give him more opportunities to go out there and be successful. Whether he doesn't get it done or not, you took him at 6. You have to give him the opportunities to go out there and try and get it done. Let me see. Do you think Chip Kelly doesn't know how to use Ashton correctly? I don't think so at all. I don't think that's the case at all. I think that they're a work in progress. I think that he's coached him for 2 games now, Willie, and that it's going to take time for those guys to put it all together. The makeshift O-line right now, JPJ's out with a concussion. Jordan Meredith, new center. It's going to take some time to get that thing rolling. We seen what it could look like in that first drive in New England. And then also, man, in that second half, they got it flowing as well against New England in New England on the road. So I'm not here to jump the gun yet. Once again, like my brother Wasted said, they got to find a rhythm. Jeanty is still trying to find his footing in the NFL. Chip Kelly and these guys, they'll put it together at some point. I just hope that it's not too late, in the season where, we're already out of things in, a playoff run or potentially finding a wild card spot. They'll get it quicker. They'll get it done quicker than not. You know what I mean? But once again, it's a work in progress. Pete, new head coach with us, I think that him and Graham are still trying to find that balance in terms of calling the defense. You can see some differences with what Graham is doing out there defensively, right? Max dropping into coverage, Kuntz dropping into coverage. I'm assuming that has Pete Carroll's fingerprints all over it. So it's going to take some time for those guys to gel as a duo calling the defense. And then offensively, there's just a whole new wide receiving core outside of Tuck and Jacoby, a new running back, new quarterback, the offensive line, there's some moving parts there. It's going to take some time. But, just last week, you guys, a lot of us were praising Chip Kelly with that first scripted drive. And then that second half, we were praising Geno Smith. Yes, Geno had a tough game yesterday. Does he deserve all of the shit talk that we're throwing his way? Definitely. He deserves all of it. And I think he knows that. He had a terrible game. 3 picks, no touchdowns. Nasty, nasty work from our guy, Geno Smith. But once again, this is a week-by-week league, right? Last week we praised Chip Kelly. Last week we praised Geno Smith. Now there's people saying that Geno Smith needs to go and that Chip Kelly needs to be fired and that we're paying him $6 million a year, for nothing. Relax. We just faced a playoff contender with the Chargers who had a really good offseason, really had a really good draft. Year 2 with Harbaugh and Mentor out there calling the defense. They're a really good football team. And I hope there's some Charger fans here in the comment section that sees this. They're a really good football team. They are. And, we held them to 3 points in the second half. They put up 20. We had so many opportunities to go out there and win that football game. But when Henley is just running all over the place and doing whatever he wants to do, thank God Khalil Mack got took out the game. Not, and I don't mean in terms of the injury, because I never want to see Khalil Mack, go out like that. Once a Raider, always a Raider. But could you imagine what that pressure would have looked like with Khalil Mack the entire game? Shit, Geno might have went down 10 times rather than 3. I think he got sacked 3 times yesterday, right? Was it 3 times Geno got sacked? 3 times. Lost 30 yards on those 3 sacks. So, but once again, it's going to take some time to gel. We got to get through this rough patch in our schedule here, you guys. It's a tough stretch of football. You're traveling out east to New England, Mike Vrabel, and that new energy with the Pats. You got the Chargers coming off of a playoff appearance. They're expecting to get back there this year, and then you got the Commanders, an NFC championship team. They were there last year, where they were a game away from the Super Bowl and Jayden Daniels, rookie season. So after we can get through these 3 games, I'm expecting this football team to rattle off some wins and get us back more in the hopium train. You know what I mean? But right now, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. We took a nasty L. It happens. You move on. You learn from it. We keep it moving. Salute to 1,000+ people here in the building. Let me get these supers in. I think I missed one. Salute to my guy, Aiden. Yo, Graphk, love the content. What do you think about the O-line of Miller, Grant, JPJ, Parham, Glaze, left to right? I don't want to see Charles Grant at the guard spot. I do not. I think we drafted him to be our future left tackle or potentially your future right tackle, depending on, what DJ Glaze looks like here this season and moving forward. But I don't want to see Charles Grant at the guard spot at all. They drafted him to be a tackle. He says, JPJ at center. I love that. I think that he'll be an all-pro center if he can stay healthy. If you can get that communication down with Geno and company and get rid of these boneheaded penalties and stay healthy, which is a big ask right now because he has a ton of concussions on his resume up to this point. But Parham at right guard and Glaze, I'm all for keeping DJ Glaze at right tackle. If anything, maybe move Meredith to right guard or even give the young fella, give Caleb Rogers a chance. But Parham is struggling, you guys. He is struggling. And he'll be a free agent soon. And, some team will probably pay him because the guard market is crazy. But, I think the whole Parham experiment is pretty much almost done, honestly. He's looked bad. Boneheaded penalties. There was a play where they did this delayed blitz. Do you guys know what play I'm talking about? Where Henley got after Geno, lost a ton of yards on a play. There was a delayed blitz where Henley kind of dropped back and kind of waited and watched Parham go back and try to help his fellow offensive lineman. And he just left that gap wide open, just a complete free run at Geno. Henley was probably salivating because that gap was so wide open. Pause if necessary. Nasty. But, great play, great call by that defensive coordinator on that delayed blitz. But Henley, man, took a step back and Parham just completely turned his whole body around and allowed Henley a free shot at Geno Smith. You cannot do that, Parham. You can't do that. You can't do that. Arkansas is our line small. Definitely. I think outside of Colton Miller, who's 6'9". I think me and Waster were talking about that earlier today about the O-line being, Wasted kept saying something along the lines of, we need some more beef, up front, pause if necessary, on the offensive line, So, but yeah, we definitely have some guys on the smaller size of things on the offensive line. Jordan Meredith, Parham, definitely. It's gonna be interesting to see how they approach the O-line going into the offseason. Definitely expect these guys to draft a few bodies and then also approach free agency and bring in a few guys. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do moving forward. They have to figure this thing out, though, because Geno will die a miserable death and Genty will have a terrible rookie season if they continue to look the way they're looking right now. Salute the coach. Oh, you mean Chicken Parham needs to be released? I mean, you can't release him. You know what I mean? Can't do that. We're already thin on that O-line. You can't just let him go, but a lot of people, coach, thought that Parham should have been a center. I'm not one of them, but a lot of people said to move him to center. What if you moved Parham to center and you moved Meredith back to moving to left guard? Keep JPJ at right guard. I don't know, but they're gonna have to do something here. They're gonna have to do something here soon, because what we're doing right now is definitely not working. So, but get a few more questions in, you guys. I definitely have a lot going on right now. I gotta go get my son from school. He got suspended for fighting. Little Graphk over there tweaking. I got to go get him in a minute, and then I got to make some calls to get back home to Sacramento here soon. For my auntie, some stuff happened, so I got to get back home here soon. Get a few more questions in before we get out of here. Before that, man, wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Also, salute to everybody listening on Spotify and Apple Podcast. I definitely appreciate you guys so much, man. Thank you. Graham, definitely. Yes, Neff cooked for sure. But this is like the third one in like the past. Yeah, I got to get him back into football so we can put some of that energy somewhere. Got to get him back. He's starting a 7-on-7 soon, but yeah, man, he's been kind of going crazy lately. UA, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And to be real with you, I'm not really in the mood to be playing these UA male games. Honestly, we've been talking about the O-line all off season. I don't know what the hell you're talking about in terms of now Graphk want to talk about the O-line. We've been talking about the O-line the whole off season. What the fuck do you want? I mean, honestly, what do you want from me, bro? I don't know what the hell. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Honestly, I don't get it. Keep that shit over at Wasters Channel. Keep all that goofy shit over there. I don't know what you're talking about. Let me see. Yeah, Silent. I mean, Genty was the pick, and it was the right pick. Simple and plain. You drafted him. Find a way to unlock him. Find a way to unleash Genty. I mean, Mondo is like, bro, like, honestly, like, Tyrese meme, like, what do you want from me, bro? Like, I don't get it. UA, go start a YouTube channel and talk about Genty and how bad he is over there as much as you want to. I don't really give a shit. I don't really care. Salute to Heat Check. Drafted Genty to give him 11 touches. We can't just abandon the run like that, bro. Also, Graphk catching straight. I don't know what you mean in terms of catching strays from Honcho. Where's that at? Where's that at? Where's that at? Heat Check. UA, your mother. And now you out of here. Salute to Pace, my guy. I've seen us look absolutely incredible to start 2-0 and then be off for the rest of the season. So I ain't tripping off this one game. So many games left. Talk that talk, my brother. Talk that talk. Talk that talk, my brother. Salute to my guy Pace, man. We'll be fine. 1-1. Honcho said only person older than him was you. How's that a stray? How's that a stray? He's right. Me and Honcho, me and Wasted are probably the only guys older than Honch. So it is what it is. He ain't lying. He ain't lying. I definitely got him by a couple years, for sure. But yeah, you guys, look, I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to hit the panic button just yet. Salute to my guy Honcho, man. Look, y'all not going to make me, you're not going to do this thing again where you guys pit us together because I pit us against each other. It's not going to happen. That's my guy in real life. That's my dog. We have fun. We joke. We talk shit. You know, it's all love. I fuck with Honcho heavy, man. And when we go back up to Bar A, I'm definitely excited to see my guy out there again in person, man. Kick it, have a shot at Hennessy and talk our shit. So, you know, yeah. Let me see. But yeah, other than that, you guys, we'll be live, I believe, tomorrow, the AFC West show. And then Thursday, me and my guy Rio will be doing a preview for the Raiders and Commanders. He covers the Commanders for a living. So the next few days, we'll have a ton of content. So stay tuned for that. Once again, my apologies. My energy is a little off today, you guys. You know, outside of the L and staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch the game and cover the game. I got a lot of stuff going on, you know, outside of this. So once again, man, my apologies, you know, for the energy being kind of low today. Just a lot going on right now. Let me get these supers in real quick before I get out of here. Still to 1,000 people here in the building. As always, salute to 2-4. My guy, it's effing one game. Relax. Graphk will banish you. This is facts, 2-4. It's definitely off safety right now. It's definitely off safety. Salute to my guy. And salute to Verbal Jiu-Jitsu, my dog. Bright spot. Few old vets playing really well and some young guys also playing at a high level. I think most people were worried about the defense. Definitely outside of that, nasty 60-yard touchdown that we gave up, Quentin Johnston, the defense looked good. The defense definitely looked good, man. I'm excited to see what they look like against the Commanders come Sunday. So, let me see. Most appreciate you, fam. Ace says, appreciate you, Graphk. You don't need to be here, yet you show up every time. Hey, man, the Hangover Tuesdays, Hangover Monday shows are always the worst because we lost. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. Look, I'm man enough to show up. We were 4-13 last year, you guys. We were live 5, 6, 7 times a week. So, I've seen worse. I've seen way worse. Way worse. 4-3. That was the roughest season in the world last year to cover this football team. So, hey, man, 1-1 right now. I will take that. We were 1-1 last year. So look, we'll get this thing right. We'll right this ship. I'm not expecting Geno to go out there and replicate the same game that he had yesterday. I know he's a gunslinger. I know picks come with the way, his brand of football. I get it. But I think that he'll clean it up. I think Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly will find a way to get the ground game going here soon. And that'll definitely, eliminate some of those turnovers from Geno Smith. You got to get the run game going. You have to get the run game going. Armando, appreciate you, brother. Your day will get better, Graphk. Only up from here. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Well, I got to go get my son from school early, and then, I got to plan for some other stuff. So, other than that, you guys, love. Appreciate you guys as always. On the way out, wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. Once again, we'll be live all week long. I got some other things I got to do. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. We are out. 1.